What is going on, everyone, and welcome to r/NuclearRevenge. Now, if you're a fan of Pro Revenge, this is going up a notch, prepare yourselves because Pro Revenge is one thing. Nuclear Revenge is a whole different level. In today's first story, this guy gets deported. He literally gets deported from America. What he does is so bad, and the revenge is incredible. Let's get straight into it. Cheat on my friend and spend all of her money? Get deported. So my friend, let's call her Coco, was really popular in high school. The type of girl that everyone wanted to be friends with, and nobody wanted to cross. Coco was known to be promiscuous, but by senior year, she seemed to have finally settled down, and was in a stable relationship with a boy. Let's call him Edgar. Edgar immigrated from Ecuador as a child, but was completely Americanized, and I don't even think he spoke Spanish that well, from what I can remember. He was the type of kid that was seen as kinda a bum to most at the school. He was nearing 20 and barely showed up to class sometimes, only to smoke behind the school and hang out with friends. I guess he was on some sort of program to get his diploma before he legally couldn't continue showing up. Regardless of this, he made my friend happy, so even if I didn't think he was Prince Charming, I tolerated him. Coco, on the other hand, was head over heels. She worked every day after school at the local grocery store, and with her hard-earned money, she spoiled the heck out of him. A new Xbox, shoes, taking him out to eat, the whole 9 yards. She kissed the ground he walked on, and I was, of course, skeptical, but again, she was happy and it wasn't my business. Things seemed cool for a while, but when poop hit the fan, it hit with ferocity. 5 months into their relationship, he cheated on her. Not only did he cheat, but the girl he cheated with was freshly 14 years old and a freshman at the same high school. Keep in mind, he's 19 and probably shouldn't even still be at the school. Now, this 14-year-old girl wasn't exactly innocent. She'd had a reputation for a while for sleeping around with older men, and she looked around 17 to 18 years old. Not to take away from the gravity of the situation, but to point out that she was a very willing participant. I just feel it's needed context. Yeah, but she's still a minor. News broke because this girl was bragging to all her friends about sleeping with Edgar, and I guess one of her friends told Coco. I was almost 100% sure that Coco was going to fight this girl. She being 17 at the time, she wouldn't have gone into the trouble she would have being an adult. To my shock, however, that's not what she did. Coco was obviously devastated. The man she's adored for almost half a year, her first real boyfriend, and the thousands she spent trying to make him happy, definitely tore her to pieces inside. Instead of fighting the 14-year-old and trying to socially execute her, however, she played it smart. Here is where the nuclear revenge came in. This 14-year-old knew Edgar was with Coco, and obviously feared Coco and the social power she had at the school. It was clear that she was scared to death of even showing her face once the news broke out, expecting to have to fight Coco or having to attempt to save her social life. What went down, however, was nothing like that. Coco messaged the girl on Instagram saying pretty much this: "Hey, I know what happened between you and Edgar, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry that he took advantage of you like that. I think we should meet up and talk about it. I know it's not your fault." Coco didn't really believe this girl was preyed upon, and I'm sure she was even fuming at her, but it was important to her master plan that the girl took up the victim role. I see where this potentially could be going. They end up meeting, and Coco pretty much showers the girl in affirmation that she is a victim. Edgar is the evil Baphomet child of Satan, and that if she went to the police, that Coco and her whole friend group would stand beside her and care for her. Long story short, the decision between social suicide and a fast pass to the popular group wasn't too hard for this girl to make, and she ended up going to her guidance counsellor the same day. The guidance counsellor listened to what happened and promptly called the police, who pulled Edgar out of class and have him handcuffed outside in a public spectacle. When the ugly truth comes to light, it's worse than anyone could have imagined it. Not only did Edgar and this 14-year-old get it on, they did it in the school bathroom. His mugshot was plastered on the news and everyone was talking about it. After multiple hours of Coco gaslighting this girl and telling her all the right things to say to the police, he was charged. he ended up getting charged with statutory rape on top of another charge because it was on school grounds. He got $50,000 bail, which he wasn't able to pay, and better yet, they were deporting him to Ecuador, the place where he had no remaining family, barely spoke the language, and that's only after he served his 5-year sentence in the US. Throughout the entire trial, Coco pretty much coached the 14-year-old, telling her to say she was scared and felt pressure to do it, when in reality, it was all on her own accord and nothing new to her. She complied with everything Coco said in order to save her own social reputation. She even continued to brag about her sexual endeavours to us, but as long as it wasn't Edgar, we were happy to entertain it. We were young and dumb and living life like we were in an early 2000s teen movie. Looking back, I can tell the girl definitely had some issues with male attention. Regardless, for the rest of our senior year, Coco let the girl tag along with us and treated her really well, even bringing her to senior prom in a loophole for the LGBT students. 3 years later, the girl is seemingly doing great. I see her on social media from time to time, and she's enrolled in college for the full semester. Coco has a new boyfriend she's been living with for over a year now, and Edgar is still in prison awaiting his deportation. Looking back, I realise how messed up the whole situation was. The 14-year-old definitely had some problems in her life, and Coco was definitely manipulative. Sometimes I even feel bad for Edgar. But at the end of the day, she was still 14, so even if she was totally down with it, it's still illegal. I don't think either side was exactly doing the right thing. It's not like Coco actually cared about the 14-year-old like she pretended she did. At least the girl had a nice time for the rest of high school. Coco just wanted to scorn Edgar, and scorn him she did. Nah, you know what? Yeah, you are right. Okay, fair enough. You are right, OP. She did want to scorn Edgar. That is completely legit, but she did it completely legally. And, most importantly, she was outing a nonce. I can't say it any more than that, A 19-year-old was sleeping with a 14-year-old, that's illegal, and he should know way better. Even if the 14-year-old is entertaining it, or even if the 14-year-old is demanding it. Really, it doesn't matter. You're 19, and you're sleeping with a 14-year-old. Yes, you deserve to go to jail. Yes, you deserve to be deported. It's pretty simple. It doesn't even matter what Coco's real, reason for doing all this was. At the end of the day, a paedophile got reported for paedophilia and arrested. That can only ever be a good thing, It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter about the other stuff. It really doesn't matter at all. Yeah, there is a comment down below which I completely agree with. Another way of titling this story is Coco recognizes that her 19-year-old boyfriend has committed statutory rape and helps the victim report it to prevent him from preying on other victims, and then continues to support her afterwards. That is how I'm seeing this. The 14-year-old, doesn't matter what sort of person they are, they're 14. That's the whole point. Yeah, it's weird. The 14-year-old could do anything. They can do whatever they want. It's still fine. They're 14, and they've been, let's be realistic, they've been victimized by a 19-year-old. Weird. Really weird, but at least this guy's put away now. Great stuff. Now moving on to our next Nuclear Revenge post. Be a POS all of your life. Have fun getting stranded in a drug cartel city. This revenge was performed by my mum and her epic mind. It all started when I was born. Life was happy, good, and easy. My brother was a good and working person. College dropout, but always very smart, or that's what we thought. My brother went out every night with his friends. Nothing alarming, but very weird. Time passed, and I turned 10 years old. At this point, my brother had a girlfriend, a son, and had already moved out. It was fun, until my brother moved back with me and my parents. Poop truly hit the fan there. The first day, we noticed an instant change in both his personality and appearance. You see, he didn't move back in alone. He came with his son and girlfriend. We asked why he came back, and he simply said they had a problem and this was temporary. For his girlfriend, to which I will refer as D, and son, this was true, but he stayed for the rest of this story in our house. When his girlfriend and her son left, she cut contact with both our family and my brother, but she did occasionally ask for money. Don't tag her as bad just now because she had a very good motive. My brother, after this, became a good-for-nothing POS with everybody in the house. It turns out his friends actually were his dealers, for drugs and that stuff. Later, we asked why did they truly leave the other house, and he just said, "I had a fight with her brother and dad." It was vague, but it was true. Sometime around 2018, when I turned 11, we occasionally went to visit his ex-girlfriend and his son. One of those times, my mum asked why she cut contact. The truth was that my brother was emotionally, physically, verbally, and sexually abusing her. She didn't press charges and still refuses to do so because of fear. My mum became enraged at him, but she didn't do anything just yet. Years passed. My brother stayed in our house. Fights between my brother and everybody here became more and more common. My brother smoked pot 24/7 with 2 kids in the freaking house. I started showing signs of depression around those times. I was just 11 years old. Imagine how trashy this was for me to consider suicide at that age. More time passed. It's now 2020, and his first fight with my dad, his stepdad, just happened. My mum was leaving to go to Culiacan, and right after the fight, my brother asked if he could go. My sister, who's not been relevant to this story, offered to buy him a plane ticket. This is where the revenge starts. You see, my sister bought a ticket to go, but not to come back. Mum was the one to come up with this plan. My brother didn't even know it at the time. Culiacan is a city known for being home to various drug cartels. Sinaloa, the state where Culiacan is pretty much horrible. More if you are like my brother. The day my mum returned is when I was notified about all of this. I was expecting my mum to come back with my brother, but she came home alone. My brother was left alone in a hotel with no money, no family, nothing. He tried calling us multiple times through public phones, but wasn't successful at all. Unless he gets a job and a house, he's either going to die of starvation or is going to get killed by a drug cartel. It's the first time in years I've truly felt happy. Thanks a lot for reading all of my nonsense. My god, it is mental to see the effect that just one person can have on a family, to the extent that your sister would offer to buy a plane ticket for him to go and then just never come back. He must be a horrible, horrible person if your whole family hates him that much, because, normally with family, you can put up with people being annoying because they are family. You don't have to be super friendly with them, but they're your family. You love them. To get to this, though, where you're sending your brother to a different country with no method of coming back, that's a bit mad. What I hope, though, is that, he doesn't die, he isn't killed by a drug cartel, but he just, becomes a better person and realizes, oh snap, they've done this on purpose. I need to sort my life out. I'm old, I've got a son, I can't even see my, the mother of my son anymore because, I've done some terrible things to her. Hopefully, for the sake of his son and the sake of his family, he turns his life around, gets a job, or somehow gets the money to get a flight back, and then moves out if he can, gets a proper job, and sorts his life out, because you can't go on living like this and annoying everyone and smoking in a house with 2 kids. That's mad. That is really, really mad, because at that point, you're not just affecting your own life, you're ruining everyone else's. But yeah, I think he needs to do something about that, for sure. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/NuclearRevenge, where the revenge is not just pro, it's up a notch. It's on the boundary between, is that actually moral? So if you want more from this subreddit, check out my playlist of r/NuclearRevenge videos right here. If you are new to my channel, subscribe. And if you want some lovely clothes for Christmas, they are right here. My own personal merch, it's the best way to support me, and it's the best way to keep warm over these cold, cold months, depending on where you are. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then take that all back. I've got t-shirts as well. All right, peace.